Jahmar Perkins. It's Crunchtime. It's Crunchtime here live at the studios of Austin Peay. I'm Zach Pugh, joined by my co-hosts Jahmar Perkins and Reece Britt. Welcome to the show, your first show here at Crunchtime here in Austin Peay. I got to start with you, obviously. How was your weekend, man? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, appreciate it, Zach. It was good. You know, we just watched a lot of football, great football games that we'll get to a little bit later. Watched some college basketball. But I'm super excited to be on the show with you guys and keep going this, yeah.
It's going to be great. All right, so we'll obviously get into a bunch of the football games later on. Jahmar, I got to get to you real quick about how was your weekend, man?
It was good. First, welcome, Reece. You know, nice to have you. But the weekend was pretty nice. I will say, as far as the Sunday football games, I worked during the majority of the first game. Got to catch the second game.
You caught the Rams game?
Yeah, just a little bit of it. But
good.
Yeah, it was still good. Watched on my phone a little bit, so I still know a little bit to talk about as far as football. But yeah, it was good. What about you, Zach?
And my weekend was great. I got to see some great games. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now ahead of time to any of you Cincinnati Bengals fans listening in on this lovely show. I'm sorry. You were right. You won the game. Good luck in the Super Bowl. You're going to need it. The Rams are just really good. But we'll get back into that in just a minute. The first thing I want to talk about, let's get straight into college basketball with the top 25. As always, I'm only going to give you the top 5. There is some changes within the top 5. Obviously, Auburn 20-1, Gonzaga 17-2, UCLA third with 16-2, Purdue fourth with 18-3, and then just entering the top 5, Kentucky finally breaks in the top 5, 17-4, I think is what I've got here for their record. And then Duke still out of that top 5 in ninth right now at also a 17-3 record. Yeah. So Duke didn't change, but Kentucky moved into the top 5.
No, and seeing Kentucky in there it's where they belong. You know, it's nice to see Kentucky thriving. But when I look at the SEC and I see Auburn at that number 1 spot, it's like Kentucky ain't the big dogs anymore. It's Auburn right now.
And I bet you that Charles Barkley is loving the fact that Auburn is number 1 right now. You probably hear it about every 4th or 5th NBA broadcast of how good Auburn's doing.
No, Auburn, man. It's just terrible.
Terrible.
Reece, what you thinking about this college basketball?
Yeah, I love everything about college basketball. They've got, Auburn being number 1. If you just watch how they play and, Bruce Pearl, I know quite a bit about Bruce Pearl, him coming from Knoxville in the Tennessee area. So hate that we lost him, but
there's always a little bit of hatred between the Vols and coaches that tend to leave and prosper somewhere else. So.
Trust me, we've got a lot of practice with that.
Oh yeah,
we know how it feels and we know how to bounce back slightly. But really, what I like about college basketball right now is everybody can beat everybody.
Yeah, it's not overpowered. Like Kentucky for years, I remember Kentucky being just the number 1 team, and Kentucky would just run everybody off pretty much. And now you're right, it's not like that. We're seeing teams like Gonzaga really being consistent the last 5 years within the top 25. UCLA is starting to make more and more of a push. Xavier and Baylor have made their subtle pushes in the men's basketball, but they've always been really good at women's basketball. And then we've got surprise teams like Belmont. You don't see Belmont in the top 25 right now for men's basketball. They're a really good team. They've got a really good center, number 33 for their team. Really good. Hey,
Nick Muzinski.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. And does not shoot like an average center either. He actually can make a free throw. So that's a big deal. Let's switch over to women's basketball real quick. Obviously, we cover it. You and I do, Jahmar.
Yep.
For women's basketball right now, top 5 in the top 25 poll off of ESPN. You've got South Carolina at 20-1, Stanford at 16-3, North Carolina State at 19-2. They were number 1 at one point, so they've come down a little bit. Louisville staying pretty hard at number 4, and then Indiana Hoosiers at 14-2 out of the top 5. They just got into the top 5 because the Lady Vols fell 3 spots.
Yeah.
They have dropped. They're down to 7th now, and they are not looking like they're going to come back up anytime soon.
Now, Lady Vols took a hard loss to Auburn at Auburn just a couple days ago, but they did bounce back in OT against Arkansas. But it's one of those things that with women's basketball, it's another thing. Like anybody can beat anybody, and just what we saw with Tennessee and Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn unranked, Tennessee's in the top 5, and Auburn beats them by a pretty hefty margin too. Yeah. So anybody can beat anybody, and I think that's why college basketball, women's or men's, really draws a lot of attention.
And what I liked about it too is I talked about this last week, talking about UConn, how they're normally all the way up top.
Yep.
UConn's they're cool. I like their team. I like their coach. But I love seeing them not just running the board, undefeated season. Like I love the fact that we're looking at this top 5 right here, And although South Carolina is looking pretty nice, we see that they can be beat with the one loss.
Right.
So we can't just say, oh yeah, they're going to win the championship this year, like we used to be able to say for UConn.
No UConn, no Baylor, no Xavier for women's basketball. It is a definitely different breed this year in college women's basketball because you're missing those three teams in
Oregon
the top
either.
five.
Oregon
Too. Yeah, Oregon for the last 3 years was great. Looking ahead. Let's go. Let's transition quickly into Austin Peay State University's men's and women's basketball. Right now, it is the battle of the border week against the Murray State Racers. Right now, conference-wise, I'm going to start with women's basketball because that's where it's been at, man. The women's team's been doing really good. Conference, they're 6-3 overall. They're 13-6. They are fourth in the OVC currently, although they beat originally #1 Belmont last Thursday. So that was a big game for them. They did a great job there, but then lost to Tennessee Tech. You hate to see that one. And then Murray kind of got the jump for the conference. Murray 7-3 conference play, 15-6 overall, but they are third right now in the OVC. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? For the Battle of the Border this week, it's a big thing for Austin Peay.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm excited. I think that both these teams are obviously really good with, the women's just coming off, yes, they lost to Tennessee Tech, but the win against Belmont really opened a lot of people's eyes because Belmont being the #1 team in the OVC, that's what everybody's chasing.
Yeah.
And for a new coach this year, for both teams, but, especially the women's, for a new coach to come in and establish what she wants to do right off the bat, and they're doing pretty good so far.
Head coach Brittany Young doing a great job as a first-year coach at Austin Peay.
I'm super proud of Coach Young. She's been doing a really good job. But no, like you said, this is huge. When you look at it, that was a huge win in the Belmont. And I watched the Tennessee Tech game. It was disappointing as a Governor fan because they should have won that game. There was some last fourth quarter mistakes that should have been avoided. But losing that game, it is tough because with that game, they would have been the 1 seed. But now you're looking at the 4th seed with that loss. And you come and see a more Murray State team. Murray State, they have the reigning player of the week, Caitlin Young. She has been balling, so she's probably a contender for the player of the year. So she's definitely going to be a huge part for Murray. But I definitely like Austin Peay's chances. I think it's sad too to say. I think they had a lot of support this last Belmont game as far as fan experience and stuff like that. And I know women's basketball does not get the credit they deserve, especially this year, because obviously the women's team is playing better than the men, but they don't get as much support. I'll say it. And looking at it, hopefully Murray State will bring. Well, I'm being honest.
Hey, man, no, I like the honesty. That's good.
Hopefully Murray State, will bring the crowd because these ladies deserve the attention. They've been playing really good basketball.
You're absolutely right. They're 8-1 at home right now. Yeah. They're only one loss at home, and so that's a good thing for the APSU women's team. For a team that's not usually consistent at home. And that's for men's and women's. And we switch over to the men's basketball real quick because I do think the women's team is going to do a great job Thursday, bidding that the weather allows for a game. We got freezing rain coming into Tennessee, so that'll be fun. But Murray's men's team is currently ranked, from what I saw, 21st in the nation, according to some polls. There are some polls out there that do not have them in the top 25. But the one that I read was they were 21st, so I'm going to run with that. Yeah. They have a record of 10-0 in the conference. They're 20-2. They only have lost twice, and it's both been away games. They can be beat on the road.
Yeah.
The thing is they're coming into an Austin Peay stadium that they are used to winning in. Yeah. They are definitely used to winning here, and that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah,
Jahmar,
I will say there's a stat, though, which the last 2 times they've been in the Dun, they've lost. We have a small streak, but it is the last 2 times. But, no, looking at this Murray State team, it's a David and Goliath matchup. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. But here's the thing, though. Last week when we played Belmont, maybe you have the Governor Faithfuls, but no one thought we were going to beat Belmont. And we didn't. But it was a lot closer game than people expected. So now we're coming into this Murray State game. People think we're getting it 20-piece. And my big thing right here is I need to see – we talked about it last week. I need to see the Sea of Red. Because Murray State, I've been to Murray State.
They're bringing fans.
And they have a great fan
They're bringing
base.
fans.
And they're going to – and if I see more blue than red, I might – as a Governor fan, I'll be sad. So I'm hoping – we show up and show out.
Unfortunately, that's a possibility that we're going to see more blue in the red. And I will tell you, it's the last battle of the border for Austin Peay.
It's the
last one. You got to win the last one.
Last time we'll probably. We maybe get to schedule some stuff.
Yeah, we might get to schedule it out of.
Murray State's going to the Missouri Valley Conference. We're going to the A-Suns. So now we're talking about we're not even in the
same conference anymore.
Yeah, so
we're
going to see.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the fact that OVC rank right now for the Murray's team is number one in OVC, 21st from what I got in the nation. Yeah. APSU is only 3-5 in the conference, 7 for 11 overall. The men's team,
2-game winning streak.
They do have a 2-game winning streak. I'll give you that. But they are 6th right now in OVC play, and that's the ticker right there. You got a 6th place team playing a number 1 team. 9 times out of 10, doesn't usually add up very well for the sixth place team.
And with this team especially, you got to put fatigue into the factor. They played a Thursday, Saturday, Monday, and then a Thursday, Saturday again coming. So
and they'll play that Monday too. They're playing Valentine's Day.
Right, exactly. So you just don't know how much fatigue is going to play into this game because I don't know what Murray's played so far. Their schedule, but I know they're probably. I'm going to put my bets on them being a little bit more rested up for this game than the Governors.
Murray will definitely have more gas in the tank than the Governors will, especially because they're used to playing at a high level. No offense to the men's team. The men's team are used to playing at a high level, but they haven't done it consistently, and that's the question mark, right? Honestly. Moving on to the NBA, man. The NBA standings right now, I'm just going to give you guys the 6 teams for each conference. Chicago for the East, Chicago, Philly, Miami, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn. And then in the West, you've got Phoenix, Golden State, Memphis is still in number 3, hoop hoop. Utah at number 4, Dallas at number 5, and Denver at number 6. The only thing that I really got right now for NBA news from myself, and I don't know if you guys want to elaborate on this, the Sixers are currently second in the East. Their number 1 player, Ben Simmons, has not touched the court the entire season.
Okay, well,
Simmons,
I'm sorry.
well, number 2 player.
I was going to say,
I'll give you number 2.
Embiid like that.
No disrespect to Embiid, but he was considered number 1 before Embiid is balling out this season. Simmons has current fines of $19 million from the Sixers for not playing, and he's projected to at least lose $12 million more in fines before they trade him, and that's if he doesn't play the rest of the season. I don't think the guy's playing the rest of the year. No. And right now he's hurting his trade stock. Yeah. Because there's no way a team's going to accept you when you've held out this long. I mean, what are we? We're almost to the halfway point. Yeah. Right?
We're seeing what Philly's doing too. They're getting offers, but they're being really picky. And I'm like, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but what I was going to say is the reason I think they're being picky is because they want him. They don't want to trade him. He does so well in their system that it's hard to trade a guy that good in your system away.
I don't know, though, because I don't think the system's going to – I mean, we saw what they did in the playoffs last year. They were mad Ben Simmons didn't shoot, and you talk about that. But I don't think Ben Simmons is the guy. I think James Harden might be that guy. We're talking about James Harden possibly going to the 76ers. That's a rumor. But I don't think Simmons and Embiid – I think they need –
I think they're done.
But I look at Simmons, and I'm like, where else would he fit in the league? We see a guy like Russell Westbrook that can't really shoot that well, but he's a good facilitator. We see what he's doing with the Lakers.
Russ can't play for the Lakers.
What will Ben Simmons do with the Lakers? Because I've heard some trades. I can't see Ben Simmons and LeBron playing on the same team.
I don't see Simmons and LeBron playing on the same team because I think LeBron would have a problem with the holdout. I think that's the problem.
A couple years ago, there were some rumors about Ben Simmons to the Warriors. I kind of like that though. Now they might have to lose Clay. They might have to lose Clay in that
trade.
You would have to lose Draymond too because you can't have Ben Simmons and Draymond on the same.
Would you rather get rid of Clay, who's been an injury-prone player, for you, even though he's great? Don't get me wrong, he's a great player. Would you rather get rid of Clay for Simmons?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a similar play style. Clay's probably a better shooter.
I wouldn't do it because of Draymond. No.
I
think Draymond would have
losing
to go
Draymond in that trade's going to hurt you.
But you have to lose Draymond if you give Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's for me. I will say trade deadline's coming up right now for the NBA. Several teams are looking to be buying teams this year. The first time in the NBA that probably have more buying teams than they have selling or trading teams. It's going to create for some interesting stuff. What do you guys think about this market opening up? I think Russell Westbrook is not going to be in LA before the trade deadline.
And he can't be. I mean, if the Lakers want to get to where they want to get, obviously, which is winning another championship. They're tied with the Celtics right now for the most. I think it's like 18-19. But if the Lakers want to get where they want to get, they've got to ship him away. And I don't know really right now where Russell would go. I mean, who wants him? Exactly.
Honest truth, Houston. Houston's the only team linked, man. They're the only team that's still linked to him. And that you and I had this conversation last week, and we both kind of agreed that he wouldn't be a great fit.
Yeah.
But now looking at it more and more, I think they want to bring him in as a vet, 6-man, kind of sitting on the bench, which is what he's doing in L.A.
He's too stubborn. No, he's not.
Yeah, he wouldn't be okay with that.
Because literally when the struggle started with the Lakers, he was like, they talked about being on the bench, and he was like, he didn't like that. He didn't want to come off the bench.
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't be okay with that in my eyes, especially, and because I mean he's ultimately a good enough player to be a starting point guard in this league. Yeah. He's one of the best 30 point guards in the world.
I agree.
He's got to get that shot.
Playing good.
Yeah, he's not playing good. He's not doing the Russell Westbrook things that we've seen in the past, like when he was with the Thunder.
Right.
Driving to the basket, getting those slams, and laying it off the glass. He's trying to almost become a 3-point shooter like Curry, and that's just not how
not that guy.
Speaking of players not playing good, we're going to move forward. NFL. Let's get straight into the NFL. Not a lot of time left for National Football League right now in the year. The biggest thing that I want to talk about, let's recap these playoffs, not playing well, a tale of two halves for Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, as they looked like in the first half against the Cincinnati Bengals. Once again, Cincy, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to lose because it's Mahomes. I mean, who's going to bet? Who's going to bet against him? You know,
nobody.
And not after that first half. I thought, they're a lock. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, what was it? You've got the stats for me there. I know 3 turnovers.
Yeah, it was 3 turnovers, but his first half QBR was 98, so not atrocious, but
that's
still,
good.
Yeah, it's
an average
good.
thing for the league.
And then his second half plus the OT QBR was 1.4,
and that's not Pat Mahomes.
No, not in the slightest.
And that interception, I just want to say that receiver should be fired. I don't know if it's Hardman that did it, but whoever tips that ball.
I thought it was Tyreek Hill.
Was it Hill at the end?
I thought it was.
Whoever it was at the end. Oh, man, if it's Hill, maybe not fired. But I'm telling you, somebody's running laps for the rest of the offseason because there's no way you tip that ball in the air like that.
And, for the NFL, for the rest of NFL fans, I know they were happy to see Cincinnati beat the Chiefs because, you think about it. I remember Josh Allen had a tweet when it went to overtime. But you look at it, the Chiefs were up 21-3 and blew that lead. You look – they're usually the team that's down, and they make the dramatic comeback and all that. So I know it was a taste of their own medicine. So I know the NFL fans, and they were happy to see that.
Another interesting note, too, is this is the second year Patrick Mahomes has thrown 2+ interceptions or had 2+ turnovers in an important playoff game. Last year against the Bucs, it was Super Bowl. He had 2 interceptions. This year, 2 interceptions. So he's, I wouldn't say he crumbles in the big moment because he doesn't. And but
you can't say that he's choking yet. But he's definitely struggling with turnovers. I agree with you there. The biggest thing that I would say with Mahomes this week that I saw in the game against Cincinnati, that I also saw in the Bucs game, trying to do too much with your legs. Throw the ball away.
Yeah.
Okay, we get it. I mean, I yell at Lamar Jackson on the TV all the time. Throw the ball, because I watch the Ravens play all the time. With Mahomes, you got to throw the ball away in that situation. There were multiple times that he gave up like 5 to 10 yard sacks almost because he just wouldn't throw the ball away. Mm-hmm. And you at that moment in time, you've got to get it done.
Yeah,
you take the loss of down.
Yeah. And trying to run that little slip screen, I remember he threw it right to the defensive end. And I was like, God, you can't do that. You got to toss it away.
And no discredit to the Bengals. The Bengals played a great game. Joe Burrow did a good job with the receiving corps. Stayed upright more than he did in the Titans game. And congratulations to them. Their third AFC Championship game that they've been to. The third time they win. So awesome job for them.
Did y'all see the stat with Joe Burrow real quick? It'll be the first person to win a Heisman, a college championship, and a Super Bowl. First person to do it, and he might do it in 3 years.
He is also the first quarterback to be drafted as number 1 overall, and within his rookie contract, the first 2 years, take that team to a Super Bowl. And not just that, this is the first time in NFL history since the merger, since the 4 seeds have made it to the playoffs, as I'm going to talk now about the number 4 seed Rams. Yeah. The Rams came back, beat San Fran. My biggest thing off this is that the defense for the Rams showed up, and the offense finally woke up for the Rams. Yeah. The biggest thing that I will give, though, it's not the Rams, it's Jimmy G. Jimmy G threw a pick in that game. Is that it? Is he being traded? Yeah. Is that it for Jimmy? I mean, in his post-game press conference, he said, I want to go to a team that's winning. Like, that's what he said. He didn't sugarcoat it in anything. If they're going to trade me to a team that's winning.
I'm going to let you talk first.
Well, I'm just going to say, I think it's up in the air right now. I think Jimmy G has he definitely has an inkling of thought that he's going to get traded, but you're looking at a guy that took your team to the Super Bowl, took you to the NFC Championship.
Twice?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how can you think if you're a GM right now, like, I'm going to trade that guy like that?
Easy, Trey Lance.
But did he do that, or did his defense and the run game do that?
Right.
Exactly.
This season, it's mostly defense and run game. I'll give you that.
Which I would agree with. But when, a casual fan, I wouldn't say we're casual fans to the NFL. We definitely know. But to the casual fan that's just peeking in on the NFL, you're looking at it and you're saying, wow, Jimmy G just took his team two NFC championships, made it to the Super Bowl. Like, a casual fan looks at that and they say, okay, yeah, they've got a good quality starting franchise quarterback.
I call it the Alex Smith scenario.
Yep.
It's a guy that came in, was successful. He's successful, but you've got a guy that's young under him that you want to be able to utilize that actually won you games as well during the regular season. Right. I just think that there's too much potential with Trey Lance that you don't keep Jimmy G. You get a trade for him. You get something for him.
If I'm the 49ers, I'm gonna see what I can get for Jimmy G, and if I can't get what I would like to get out of him, then I'm gonna keep him, and I'm gonna see how he is the first half of the season, and then if he doesn't, then I'm gonna pull Trey Lance, and maybe you looking at see what Trey Lance can do for the rest of the season. Maybe not try to go to the playoffs next year. Maybe it is a rebuild sort of after next year, but I don't know. We'll see.
Where do you think Jimmy G goes if he does go?
Honest truth, now that Tampa Bay has a lovely opening,
Yep.
he's the perfect quarterback to just plug into that system and be just almost like Brady was. That's what the Patriots tried to do when Brady got hurt and Garoppolo had to come in. That's what the San Francisco 49ers tried to replicate. I just think that's where he might go. The biggest thing is, and I'm mentioning it now, obviously, the GOAT retired Tuesday, February 1st. He announced on Twitter confirming that the major Schefter story that happened to have dropped, there was a small chance that it was a lie. And I was praying that it was a lie because Schefter's now done this twice in 2 years, that he's dropped a story at an important time of the season prematurely, and it's taken so much off of what's going on during the league. I think that Schefter should have waited.
As me personally considering myself as media, I just think it's disrespectful out of Schefter. Like, I understand we want to get the big story, but like, you're talking about one of the greatest athletes of all time. Like, let him be released when he wants it to be released.
Right.
Like,
Brett Favre got his opportunity. Drew Brees got his opportunity.
Yeah.
Every major quarterback has gotten their opportunity to say, hey, I'm retiring. Brady didn't get that.
No.
Now, the reason Brady doesn't get that is because he's so good. Every media outlet ran with it on Saturday and Sunday. I talked to you about it and was like, hey, man, this is insane. I didn't even expect it because we had talked about it on a Wednesday.
Yep.
The biggest thing that I've got for that is, many questions now around the Bucs. Will they still have a chance to contend? Who's that quarterback? If Garoppolo comes there and plays, you still don't have Rob Gronkowski. I don't think you still have Bruce Arians. I think that coaching position opens up because they were a one-and-done team, man. They were trying to make it to the playoffs and go. Now, the biggest thing for me, I'm going to push past Tom Brady because I don't want it to take any light away from anything else that's going on, right? Yeah. Let's look at the Super Bowl real fast.
Okay.
We're going to do a much better coverage of this next week, obviously. So for those that are listening, we'll have a much more coverage on this, stats, who's going to win, what's the better over or under for it, everything like that next week. But for right now, the Rams are favored by 5.5 points. The Rams come in 12-5, number 4 seed from NFC, and the Bengals are 10-7. What do you guys think?
Personally, I'm not a betting man. I can't bet, obviously, but
Oh, yeah.
I would be sick and tired of betting against the Bengals at this point. They've beat the Titans. They've beat the they beat the Titans, beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Joe Burrow's something special.
Yeah.
I think he's got what it takes. Now, is it going to happen this year? Personally, I don't think so.
Right.
But I mean, I would not bet against Joe Burrow.
And to use what you said earlier, it's like a David and Goliath scenario right now. It's a lot of vets on that Rams team compared to a lot of younger players on the Bengals.
Interesting to see the Jahmar Chase versus Jalen Ramsey situation or how they're going to treat that. But they also have a decent.
Gonna beat him.
You think Ramsey's gonna?
I think Ramsey's gonna beat him.
And you see,
because you saw Chase couldn't handle the man-to-man coverage in KC. Ramsey's
gonna have to contain them the whole game though, because if you remember against the Bucs, towards the end of the game, Brady threw a deep ball. I believe it was Evans. Evans just clearly beat.
And then Weddle came in and cleared him out.
Yeah, so
I
now,
saw that. Yeah.
So now you're looking at a situation where how they're gonna be, because we now know that the Bengals can be down by a decent amount and still come back. So you might see the Super Bowl starting off in a 14-0 situation or 14-3 situation. You know what I'm saying?
And I totally agree with you. I think this is the first time in years that I can look at a Super Bowl and go, I'm very excited to watch this game.
Yeah.
It's a chance to see. It's the first time we're not seeing Brady and Rodgers since like 2009.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
We're not seeing Mahomes. We're seeing Stafford. This is the closest Detroit's become to a Super Bowl in years. You got Eminem playing at the halftime show and Stafford's being a quarterback. I mean, this is great for the city of Detroit. Sorry, Lions. But obviously, we're going to do a bigger segment on that next week. I don't want to talk too much about it, but to just give my little prequel, I think the Rams defense is going to be great against Cincy.
Really quick, before we get in, we're going to probably do it next week, but as of right now, we'll see if our opinion changes.
Yeah.
Who do we have?
I got Rams.
I got Bengals.
How much? By how much? By how much?
I've got them.
I think the Rams got it by 7 because of the defense.
Yeah, I've got Bengals by 3.
I think Bengals win is going to be out by a field
Yeah, if the Bengals win this game, it's 3. And once again, Cincy, if I'm wrong, I will humbly apologize to all of you. From the heart of my bottom, I will gladly apologize to you. What you got? You asked us, so I got to ask you. What do you think?
It's going to go to overtime.
You think? I think it's going to OT too.
I'm not going to say the score right now.
But
next week.
If it goes to OT, this coin flip stuff's got to stop. I think the NFL this offseason's got to change the OT rules. And one of the things that we want to get into real quick, Pro Bowl is this weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on with the Pro Bowl. a lot of big names, but you may be surprised of who is starting for some of these teams. Like, for instance, the starting quarterback for the AFC is Justin Herbert. It is not Pat Mahomes. It's not Lamar Jackson. It is Justin Herbert, which is a pretty interesting thing. The main thing that I want to go over with that, guys, the thing that I enjoy so much is these tests. Thursday is always the best day for Pro Bowl week because that's the skills test thing. And then we've got, this year we've got, sorry, my bad. I'm trying to find where I put these at. Precision passing, quarterback and wide receiver together, obviously, for that. You've got thread the needle, which is the quarterback throwing against a wall of holes where the DB's got to protect them. Best catch competition's a new one. 2 wide receivers from each league face off in a battle of creativity and talent. Pretty much just seeing who can have the best one-handed three-finger catch. I wish Odell Beckham Jr. was in the Pro Bowl for that one. Fastest man contest, we already know who's winning that. It's Tyreek Hill. Maybe Lamar might get second, but it looks like it's just a classic 40-yard dash. And then the best thing, it's the Pro Bowl dodgeball. Best of 3 series. And we all know AFC is going to win that.
I'm just messing with you guys.
I'm just messing with you.
Kyler Murray will be in that, right?
Let me double check. If memory serves correctly, he might have opted. I know Josh Allen opted out.
Okay, because he's a baseball guy, so I know Kyler Murray's probably a good dodgeball player.
Yeah, so you've got Aaron Rodgers, who is starting now for the NFC. Tom Brady, who retired. I don't think Tom's coming for this. Kyler Murray, Kirk Cousins actually replaced Aaron Rodgers, and Russell Wilson's replacing Brady. So, no Rodgers, no Brady for this. And I think Kirk Cousins might be starting. So that's that guy's not going to be in Minnesota. That's going to be the most
fun Pro Bowl ever.
Kirk Cousins. You've got Mike Evans replacing Cooper Kupp. It looks like I'm trying to find the rest of these guys that are being replaced. Not many other players were being replaced, it looks like, when it came to the NFC side.
Did you guys hear about the Cooper Kupp really quick while you're going over that? The Cooper Kupp, his wife's I think it's his wife now. Did you guys hear? So apparently, really quick story, Cooper Kupp, he was going to college, and his girlfriend at the time transferred.
I did hear about this.
She transferred to his school, lost like
Eastern,
2 years.
Yeah, it was like Eastern Washington, right?
Yeah. Transferred to get different credits. Worked like a full-time, part-time job so that he could pursue football, and now he's looking at the Triple Crown. He's might win the Super Bowl. So man.
Oh yeah, no, it's an amazing story by him to be able to go through and do everything he was supposed to do for the league, and his girlfriend helped him out a lot. I want to get to a couple of news things, and then we're going to kind of talk a little bit more about this NFL stuff today. Breaking news! Breaking news! Washington announces their name. Since you're a fan, I'll let you do it, and then I'm going to talk about how bad it is.
Personally, I don't dislike it, but man,
that name is.
The name's Commanders, obviously.
The Washington, Commanders. That's exactly what I did when I saw it. You had Red Wolves, which was a really good one, a popular one, and then you had Sentinels because of the Replacements movie. I almost would rather you be the Sentinels, just because the Commanders, where did it come from?
Yeah, exactly. I think they had some meme out there that they went from like the Redskins to the people that killed the Redskins to the Commanders. So I was just like, I mean, how could Dan Snyder screw up even more? And he's found a way.
The Red Wolves were such a great concept. They actually had a really good concept with that.
Who were they commanding?
Yeah, right. Not themselves. I'm going to tell you that.
I don't know. I saw this thing too. It gives me strong just little league vibes.
Yeah.
Or like some middle
like an expansion
like a high
team
school
type thing. We talked about
you said,
that.
like a G League team.
It's an NFL expansion team. Is what it is. It's Madden. Is what it is.
Yeah.
I want to get in real quick. Brian Flores. We talked about the opening NFL head. NFL head coaching openings. And Flores was fired. I don't think Flores should have been fired. We both agreed to this. Comes out yesterday after the Tom Brady stuff. Actually, so it comes out Monday after the Tom Brady stuff. No, Tuesday, sorry. And says, I'm suing you. And he is suing the NFL. He's suing the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the Giants for systematic racism within the hiring process. He found out from Bill Belichick that on 2 days before he was supposed to interview for the job, that he was going to be not accepting that job. I just think that is, and obviously we don't have a lot of time left, so we're gonna quickly tap this.
Yeah, my quick thoughts are.
Talk more about this next week.
I think he's really brave for doing this because this is a very bold decision. This doesn't go his way, he might never see the NFL again. Maybe because he's a linebackers coach. Yeah. So I will see both sides though, because some people say he shouldn't have got the job in the first place. He was a linebackers coach, never been a coordinator before. So I love seeing both sides in this.
Right.
But I do think it was unfair what they did. I would hate it personally if I walked into a job interview and I didn't have the job already. Like, don't just give it to me.
You just walked in and
like,
knew you were going to have it.
So I think
and it was worse that the Giants didn't tell him, like, I know you had it on Thursday, but didn't tell him, like, hey, we found our guy. You know, they were just going to bring him in for an interview, and they had no.
Not the first time it's happened to him.
Right,
too.
exactly.
And then, we'll, like I said, we'll cover more about this next week on our episode. I want to thank both of you for coming in this week. Thank you for your first show. We'll see you obviously next week, Reece.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to do us this week for Crunchtime. We'll see you next time.